You know we're normally on the other side to each other.
That's fine. Hey guys, it's Heather from Keller Plan, and this is Matthew.
Howdy.
And he is joining me today for a special video. We're doing a couples Q&A, and we're going to be answering questions submitted by you guys. So it's going to be super funny, and Matthew has no idea what questions are going to be asked. I'm a little bit nervous.
Don't build it up that it's going to be super funny.
It probably will be, though.
Okay.
So he has no idea what's going to be asked. I have no idea how he's going to answer. So it should be funny. Some of these questions are directed at both of us, and we both are supposed to answer. Some are just for Matthew, some are just for me. So our first question is, how did you and Heather meet?
You want me to answer that?
Well, it says, how did you and Heather meet, so I feel like they're asking you.
Oh, okay. Well, we met on a dating app, a free one, and
that is like the definition of you. You're such a cheapo. That free app is like...
You were on it too.
For like a week.
Yeah. She was on it for like a week. I was on it for like months. And met some interesting people. And then I met Heather.
Oh. Okay, next question. We're both supposed to answer this. What did you do on your first date? It's a funny question. This question was asked by Girl Ginger. Her name's Erica. So Erica from Girl Ginger. What did you do on your first date?
Well, Erica.
It depends on which date you're asking about, because we have different definitions of what our first date was.
So the first time we met.
Which was our first date?
The first time we met, we had dinner at Fratelli Ristorante.
And we ate dinner, and
that
was it.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it?
It's because we met.
He paid, though, so that is a date.
Okay,
that is a date.
But that was us meeting. And then I called Heather and said, hey, would you like to go on a date? And then we went bowling, which is just kind of a easy thing to do for a first date. And then we had Fuzzies.
Yeah, we had
taco
tacos.
Shop. Yeah, we had tacos.
We had tacos. That was our second date.
It was our first date.
Our next question is from Michaela Grace. Both of us. At what point in your relationship did you know that you wanted to get married?
Heather says she knew the moment.
I knew the night I met him that I was going to marry him.
Oh.
But I think I knew, like, for certain, like, I don't know. I feel like I knew the whole time.
I don't know. I honestly can't answer this question. I tell Heather the moment that I knew that I loved Heather was when I was on vacation for a week with my family, and I couldn't like call her or anything like that because we were in the Caribbean, and I missed her, and I was like, I can't wait to go home and see Heather.
Granted, this was in October, and we met in January, so I knew like in January that I was going to marry this guy, and it took him 10 months to figure it out. But he figured it out, so that's all that matters. Matthew, this question is from Steph.
Okay.
She says, how did you know Heather was the one?
Why does everybody ask me this?
I can answer this question.
You can answer it?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
His answer is, I don't know. I just did. I just did.
How about when you know, you know?
Matthew hates these kinds of questions. Steph also wants to know, how did you propose?
How did she get 2 questions? Well, that's a fun story. So we went to dinner at this Mexican joint in downtown Fort Worth. And then I
feel like we need a backstory before this.
Okay, so it was Heather's birthday.
It was my birthday. The whole day I had been at a pool party with my friends.
Right.
And these friends were the ones who were like, they had been around since before me and Matthew met. The night that we met, we were all in a group text. They were all, anyway. They were the ones who the whole time Matthew's like slow poking around figuring out that I'm the one. They're like, he's friend zoned you. Anyway, same friends, but this is like 2 years later. Year and a half later, I guess. And we're at a swim party all day for my birthday, and they're like, you think he's going to propose tonight? And I'm like, he better. So all day I'm like, he's going to propose. And then now you can take over the story.
Okay, so then I take her to dinner at this place called Joe T. Garcia's in downtown Fort Worth. It's kind of near the Stockyards, kind of near downtown. If you're familiar with Fort Worth, you've probably heard of Joe T. Garcia's. So we go to dinner and we eat, and I'm like, she couldn't tell. I was like nervous.
He wasn't acting nervous. I remember at dinner.
She says I wasn't acting nervous.
At dinner, he got up and went to the bathroom, and I remember I took my phone out and
on my way to the bathroom, I had written my proposal on a note card so that I could memorize it and not screw it up at the moment. So on the way to the bathroom, I'm like reading this card, like, oh.
Well, meanwhile,
I'm standing in the bathroom reading the card, walking back to the table, reading the card, put it back in my pocket so Heather doesn't see it.
Meanwhile, I'm back at the table texting my group of girlfriends, and I'm like, I said, I don't think it's going to happen. He's not acting nervous at all. I just need to let it go, or I'm going to ruin my birthday when I'm disappointed that it doesn't happen, so I just need to let it go.
So we get in the car. I open the door for her. She gets in the car. I close the door. I pull out my card as I walk around the car, and I'm reading this card again. Like, okay, say this, and this, and I say, yeah, okay, and I'm going to say this, and okay. Then I put the card back in my pocket, and we get in the car, and we drive over to the Fort Worth Water Gardens, which is like this big...
water garden.
It's a big water garden. It's just kind of water structure.
Which...
It's like you don't go swimming.
We had never been there before, and I want to throw out there that I've never been there. My birthday is in July, and we live in Texas, and it was freaking hot.
But if you get down to the bottom of the water gardens where the mist and stuff is, it's nice.
But before we got there, we couldn't find a parking spot, and so in my head, I'm like, we're going there because he's going to propose. Why else would we go there? It's hot outside. He's going to propose. Then we're looking for a parking spot. There's nowhere to park, and he's like, oh, let's just go home. And I'm like, well, he's not going to propose, because if he's going to propose, he would find a parking spot.
Okay, well, I was still looking for a parking spot. I was like, well, I guess we can just leave, but I'm like, we need to find somewhere to park. So we find this parking spot, like, down a side street, and I'm like, whatever. We head in, and we start walking down. It's like this big stair-step deal that you walk down as these waterfalls come down around you, and there's a couple of platforms in the middle. And we start walking down. We get about halfway, and Heather's like, I can't go down anymore.
I don't even think it was halfway. I think it was like halfway. 2 stairs.
So I can't go down there. I'm going to slip and fall.
I had on sandals, and the stairs were wet.
It was because they're water.
Well, I was going to slip and fall.
So I'm like, well, here, let me help you down. She's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Fine. So we go back to the top, and there's these like people around there, and I'm like, well, I don't want to do it like right next to all these weird people. I don't know these randos.
So we actually sat down on a bench.
We could kind of go around the edge. You can still see the water garden. We're right next to the edge of it, and we go around the edge, and I'm like, well, here, open your birthday present, and I hand her the present.
Oh, and then I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, I got a present. Okay, it's my birthday. So I reach in, and inside the bag is this little jewelry box, and I was like, oh my God. She's like freaking out. I pull out this little box. I'm like, about to start crying, and I open it, and it's pearl earrings. And I was like, I was like, thanks, and I snapped it closed, and I like threw it in my purse. Man. I was so mad.
You can't get an engagement ring as a birthday present. That's not a present. So I was like, watch this. I'm going to get her little bitty pearl earrings, and she's going to open that.
Well, then he starts saying all this sweet he like makes me
This is my proposal I memorized, by the way.
And he's saying all this sweet stuff, but I'm pissed. Because I'm like, I feel like the whole night it's like, he's going to propose. He's not going to propose. He's going to propose. He's not going to propose. He's not going to propose. And so I'm like pissed. And he starts saying all this sweet stuff, which Matthew is not, he doesn't say a lot of sweet stuff. Like, so it should have probably included me. Not that he's not sweet, but he's just not good with sweet words.
That's why I had to write it down.
And read it 20 times. And so he starts saying all this nice stuff. And if I'm honest, I like didn't listen to half of it because I was just like, he just realized what I thought that was going to be. And he realizes that I'm pissed and he's trying to save my birthday. And this is ridiculous. And I'm like so mad in my head. But then all of a sudden, he's down on one knee with a ring. And I'm like, whoa, what just happened? And that's how he proposed.
And that's how we proposed.
And then that little card, I kept it for so long and then I lost it.
I don't think you even kept it for that long.
No, it was in my purse. Our next question is from Andy from Jamming on My Planner. how did your family react when they first met the other person? So how did my family react when they met you? And how did your family react when they met me?
I don't know. My family was just like, oh, cool, you know.
This is how I met Matthew's family.
Oh yeah.
I go to church with him one Sunday. He was living in the area that we live in now.
This is like 2 weeks after we first started dating.
It wasn't 2 weeks. It was like a month.
A month?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I lived in Dallas, so I went to church in Dallas, and then he was going to church where we go to church now. And he really wanted me to come to his church one Sunday, and so I was like, okay, I'll meet you. Which his church starts so early. I remember I had to get up so early that Sunday.
I made her come to first service.
I think I was up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And we get to church, and we're sitting there, and Matthew's like, hey, save those 3 seats. Or 2 seats. I guess your brother was
No, it was
there.
3 because my brother was... No, he was with Parisa then. So
Oh, okay.
It was 2 seats.
So he was like, save those 2 seats. And I was like, oh, who am I saving 2 seats for? He's like, oh, my mom and dad. Oh, that's them right there. And I was like, oh, you're meeting your mom and dad today.
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't tell her.
Great, let's do this. But how did they react?
I didn't ask. See, there's a difference between guys and girls. I don't ask anything. I didn't ask my mom, what do you think of Heather? I didn't ask any of that. I didn't ask my dad, hey, what do you think about Heather? I just was
don't
like,
even remember the first time you met my
this is
family.
Heather. This is...
Do you remember them?
I remember when I met your dad, because he came down and we went to dinner with him at Matt's El Rancho in Dallas.
When?
We were just dating then. It was pretty early. But me and your dad can talk to a brick wall.
That's true.
Like,
He could talk to anybody.
me
I
and-
really don't remember.
Me and her dad kind of bonded over picking on her and some stuff,
Oh.
but...
All right, next question is from Kristen from Kristen Plans. It's for both of us. What is your favorite memory from your wedding?
Oh, man. Like, that whole day was just
It goes by
like...
so fast.
I know.
You spend so long prepping, and then it's like a whole blur. I think my favorite moment from our wedding was probably right after our ceremony when we got to go in that little room by ourselves.
Yeah.
And we only had like 30 seconds before our wedding party walked in.
Yeah.
But it was just like, oh my God, like, I think that was my favorite part.
I remember when we're doing, okay, so we had Mary singing the song, and we did a cross instead of like the candle or whatever people do. We did a cross. We like nail one cross onto another cross, and you do the 3 nails, and
It was really cold.
it was cold, but so we're up there and we do this, and like the song's like 3 minutes long. It took me and Heather like
0.3 seconds.
45 seconds to do this cross. So we're just standing there next to each other like, sure is
We
cold.
prayed for a little bit.
We prayed for a little bit, but then we were like, man, it's cold, and like, man, like, what are we supposed to do? This is kind of awkward. Like, we're done.
Yeah,
She's still
so if
singing.
you're planning a wedding, keep that in mind. Make it a short song. All right, so the next category of questions. Those questions were like questions about our early relationship.
Okay,
The next category is marriage questions.
sweet.
So this one is from Kelly at Kelly Burgeon. What is a piece of advice you would give to a soon-to-be married couple or newlyweds?
Honestly,
I'm interested to see what he's about to say.
I swear, every single dude that I knew that was married or older than me or an elder, somebody at church, anything, every married guy said, pick your battles. That's all they said. Pick your battles. Pick your battles. I would just give the same advice. Pick your battles. There is some shit that is not worth stuff. There is some stuff that is not worth arguing over. You gotta let it go.
But now I'm like sitting here and I'm like, what battles do you choose to let go? Because you're so stubborn.
What was your advice be? It was for both of us.
I really don't know what my advice would be. For a soon-to-be married couple or newlyweds. I really don't know what I would say. Be nice to each other.
Like, talk about, like, you need to, like, tell the other person what you're thinking. They don't read your mind.
Oh, I think a good piece of advice for newlyweds is to sit down before you even get married and figure out your finances. I think that's one.
Yeah.
Finances. I
Yeah.
remember, like, before we got married, so many people told us that finances is what most couples fight about.
And I remember we did that in our marriage counseling, and I was like, by the way, Heather, you don't have any like credit card debt through the roof or anything, right? And luckily, Heather's as frugal as I am, so there wasn't any of that.
I don't know if I'm as frugal as Matthew.
Yeah. Well, I'm just downright.
He's pretty frugal.
I'm downright cheap.
So I would say figure out your finances together.
That's a good
and
one.
then like be honest about your finances.
Yeah, and
so
and then don't expect the other person to read your mind.
Yeah. Although sometimes you should. I'm just kidding. Michaela has another question. What are some of your favorite traditions that you have together? One of my favorite traditions, I'll go first.
Yeah, you do that.
Is every year for our anniversary, we take this picture. And the first year, we were like holding a picture from our wedding in a blue frame. And then the next year, we were holding the picture of us holding the wedding picture. And then the next year...
We reuse the same frame every year. It's a picture within a picture within a picture, basically. Every year.
So like this year, when we retake our picture, you're pretty much not even going to be able to see the wedding picture anymore because it's going to be so small.
Our first anniversary is going to be like...
Yeah, and this is only year 4. So we always joke, like, what is it going to be like in 50 years when it's like...
Well, what's interesting about that is we keep all the pictures in the frame. So I think in 50 years, we just take them out and
like our 50th wedding anniversary, the walls are just going to be covered.
Cover the walls, and you can see us from wedding to 50 years later. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's a pretty cool one. That's probably one of my favorite traditions.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to go with that answer too.
We do have some other things that we do too, but the next question is from Laura at Created by His Grace. Do you do Bible studies together? The answer is no. We don't really. But I feel like a lot of that is because I usually pick Bible studies that have to do with like women, and you would read it and be like, "This is all about women." I don't think about my body like I don't know. It would just.
I kind of.
Maybe we should. Maybe we should find a couples one and do it.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, our next question is from Creating Happy Plans. What year has been your hardest year of marriage?
1.
I wouldn't even say the whole year though. I feel like we got married in March, and I think that
we fought more.
I think that's
summer.
First
year.
I think that summer we fought more. I don't think it was the whole year.
We got married in March.
I feel like July and August.
Yeah, June, July, August, maybe September. Like those were tough. I think it's because like the honeymoon, it was like you're riding high, you're letting stuff go, and then finally it's like.
Well, plus like we got married in March, then we were like selling our house in April, and then we were moving in May, and so it was just like we had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And then June and July was like I was off of work, and
we were
life was getting more into a routine, and it was those. I feel like those 3 months we fought more than we probably ever fought, because I feel like just we fought all the time. But now we don't really fight, so I think.
Now that we say that, just wait.
Okay, the next question is from Morgan Gabriella. How do you make sure you make time for your marriage?
I think we kind of have a routine that we follow for the most part, and just as a part of our routine, we spend time together.
I feel like I think one thing we do is like we eat dinner together almost every night.
Yeah,
even if we're just eating at home.
Yeah,
that's like our time.
And the only times we don't is like if Heather's out of town, or if you have to like be at Holly's for what.
But even then, I'm usually home for dinner.
Yeah, even then.
So and then I feel like we're pretty good about. We usually go out on a date like
pretty much once a week.
A weekend, yeah. We go out to dinner. So just making time for each other. I'm sure that once you have kids, it gets a little bit harder. But since we don't have kids yet, it's a little easier, I think, to make time for each other because it's pretty much all the time. Yeah. So the last marriage question is from Created by His Grace. In what ways do you show each other that you love each other? I think I could answer this for you.
Let's see what you say.
Okay. Matthew's like, yes, I'm so glad Heather's answering this for me. Matthew does a really good job of showing that he loves me by doing things for me. I think that
that's actually what I was going to say.
He has acts of service down pat. He washes the dishes every night. He picks up after me, even though that gets on his nerves. He does things like films a planner video with me. He listens to me talk about things that he doesn't really care about, but he listens. He will go pick stuff up at the store for me. Like, he does things for me. Even when I know he doesn't want to do it, he does it anyway.
Yeah.
So, I think that's how he mainly shows that he loves me. It's definitely not with sweet words.
What's your act of service, or what do you do?
I don't know. Why don't you answer that?
Why don't you answer that?
Because I answered it for you. Maybe you should answer it for me.
Heather is great. How do you I don't know. You do things and say things. This is
I'm telling you, no sweet words. No sweet words live in this body. Okay, so our next category is relationship questions.
Relation.
So our first question is from Lauren. Her Instagram is laurhide16. You guys seem to laugh a lot together. What is the funniest experience you've had together as a couple? Something you still laugh about?
The funniest experience we've had together? Oh man.
Don't tell! No. I know what you're gonna. No, that story is not allowed.
Oh my gosh.
We're not telling that story. Pick a different one.
That's the only one I can think
Okay,
of.
then we're skipping this question. Skipping that question. The next question, I know exactly what story. Finster NYC. The question is, do you guys ever fight?
Yes. Duh.
Yes, we do. We try to be better about it, but we do still fight every once in a while. The next one is from ADSP1407. What is the number one thing that you argue about?
We argue about? I don't know.
I would say the number one thing we argue about. It's gonna sound so dumb, like such a little thing.
I feel like it's like we just get on each other's nerves at certain points about different things. I
think the number one thing that we argue about is what we're gonna eat for
That's
dinner.
true.
Which is like the stupidest thing.
If there had to be one subject that we argue over, it's that.
I guess if that's our biggest fight, then we got a good life. The next question is from Emily Bannon 96. What is your favorite thing about one another?
You picked these questions.
I did not pick these questions. They submitted them.
I love Heather's crafty side. She is so creative, like you guys know with the planning stuff, but not just that, like she'll come up with ideas and stuff that I'm just like, cool, I'm glad I got you.
I think my favorite thing about Matthew is probably his sense of humor. He's funny. He's a funny guy. He always makes me laugh.
Yeah, funny guy.
He's made me laugh since the first time I met him, so he's pretty funny. The second thing is he's just a good guy. Like, he's just a good, everything,
Solid.
not everything about him is good, but the majority of things about him are good.
What are the things that are not good?
I don't know. The next question is from Logan's Planner. What do you think makes your relationship unique?
I don't know. Why is it? I don't know why it's unique. Why does it have to be unique?
Well,
Lots of
every
people are married.
relationship is unique.
Can we turn the fan on?
Yes.
I'm gonna turn it on. It's hot in here.
What makes our relationship
Whoops.
unique? I guess just the fact that it's me and you, and I don't know. That's a tough question.
I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that.
The next question is from Morgan. She said, "What is your ideal date with each other?"
Well, my go-to is dinner and a movie. Actually, dinner at the movie.
Kill two birds with one stone.
Studio movie grill or movie tavern.
That's your ideal date. If someone said, Matthew, you can go on any date with Heather, that would be your ideal date.
Well, no, like let's take a private plane to like Jamaica and have dinner on the beach, beef Wellington.
Check. Oh my gosh, yes,
And,
that's my ideal date. Eating on the beach again in Jamaica.
In front of the sunset. And
no,
then,
sunset's too early in the day.
okay.
Sunset or sunrise?
Sunset. Why would you eat dinner at sunrise?
Sunset, never mind. Our next question is from Megan. What is your favorite thing about... We already did that one. What is your favorite thing about the other? We already did that. The next question is from Plan Simply. When did you both get a dog as a couple? We got married in March, and I already had Julio. Julio's like a little Yorkie. He's probably around here somewhere. And then we got married in March, and in...
We got Maggie in July.
Like the first day of July was when we picked her out.
Yeah.
She came home on like July 6th or something.
Because we got her from the shelter, and after you sign the adoption papers, you have to pay to get her fixed. So then they did all that, made sure her shots were up, and she was registered, and got her fixed, and then we picked her up, I think a week after we basically signed the paperwork. Yeah, so that's when we got Maggie. The next question is from the College Buju. What kind of dogs do you have? Julio is a Yorkie, and look, he's probably about to walk over here because he heard me say his name. And he's old. He's almost 10. So I've had him since... I got him like right after I graduated college. He does need a bath. He's pretty dirty right now. So he's a Yorkie, and then Maggie, we got her at the local pet shelter. Yeah. And she's just a mutt. I don't really know what she is. So I've looked at just 'cause I know a lot of dog breeds. I thought that I think that she's half lab and half Rhodesian Ridgeback, just from her coloring on her body. She looks all her coloring. It looks just like Rhodesian Ridgeback. She is Matthew's princess. That is for sure. That's true. The next question is from Freckled Fiasco. What is a dream bucket list item you have as a couple? Mediterranean cruise. Matthew has really wanted to go on a Mediterranean cruise lately, but I really think that something he probably wants to do before that is Matthew loves going to the Virgin Islands, St. John. Yeah, St. John. And so he's always wanted to take me. He's always wanted to take me there, and so I feel like we probably do that before we go on a Mediterranean cruise. Yeah. So. The next question is from Bailey. She says, what is the best thing about living in Texas? Everything's better in Texas. People are friendlier. They're not friendlier than the people in Alabama. Okay, well, people are friendlier than anybody in the Northeast. Yeah. And Northwest. And West. But that's just the South in general. Midwest. I think Matthew is kind of biased. He's lived in Texas his whole life, so... He thinks everything is great about living in Texas. I think one of the best things about living in Texas is, especially living in the DFW Metroplex, is that, like, we couldn't do anything we want to. Like, anything that, besides, like, going to a beach. And even, I guess you could go to, like, one of the fake beaches at the lake. Right, or drive 4 hours and you're at a beach. Like, you could just do anything you want in Texas. You can go... to the lake, you can go any store, any restaurant, any kind of food, like, and it's all like within 15 minutes. You don't have to drive really, really far. So that's what I really like about it. All right, the question that like 10 people asked, do we want to have kids? Well, yeah. Is that all you're going to say about it? I mean, it's not their business. Matthew said it's not your business. We hope to have kids at some point. Matthew says he only wants boys, no girls allowed. 2 boys. I want some girls. I'm so crafty. I need a girl. I need a girl. Okay, so next question is from Bailey again. She said, if you could have any job in the world, what would it be? I would get paid to play video games. I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. The next question is from Cupcake Mammy. What is your favorite coffee? My favorite coffee? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I like Colombian. It's probably what I drink most.
I think my best cup of coffee that I've ever had in my entire life was in San Antonio at this breakfast place called the Gunther House.
Mm-hmm.
That coffee was, I remember the whole breakfast. I was there with a bunch of girlfriends. We went for a weekend and we just sat there drinking our coffee and we're like, this is the best coffee ever. This coffee is so good. This is the best coffee ever. And then they have like a little shop and we all bought like 3 bags of the coffee before we left because we're like, this coffee was magical. It's been a long time since I've had that coffee. We should go to San Antonio. Okay, the next question is, this question is kind of funny. It's from a girl named Ariana. Who spoils Maddie more? I want to throw out there, Maddie's our niece. So Matthew's really good with Maddie, and if you ask Maddie who she likes more between the two of us, she says Matthew.
It's me.
She's like obsessed with Matthew. And I don't want to say Matthew could care less about her, because I mean she is his niece. He cares about her. But
I show affection for Maddie in different ways. I like to mess with Maddie, so
he likes to push her
I
buttons.
push her buttons, and she'll start screaming, and I'll still push her buttons. I let her scream.
He's the mean uncle, but she also adores him and prefers him over me, which makes me really mad. But I definitely spoil her more. So she is our niece, though. So okay, so next are kind of some planner questions, but about both of us.
Okay.
That's our next category. Does Matthew ever try to give me planning advice?
No.
No. He would have no idea what to say. Does Matthew have his own planner?
Do not. Yeah, right here.
I'm sure, Heather, you talked to Matthew about having planner stuff, ideas that you see from other planner babes. Has Matthew given you a great idea for planning stuff before?
I came up with a sticker book.
You know, I think you did. You did, didn't you?
I don't know if I did.
I really think you did. I think that no. What it was I came up with the sticker book we're talking about is back in the day when you would tear your stickers out and glue them on the scrapbook pages and punch them in. I came up with the sticker book idea, but you came up with making it double-sided.
Okay.
Because I was like, I'm already out of paper. What am I going to do? And you were like, well, why didn't you double-side the stickers? And I was like, that's genius. I do remember that. You did come up with that.
Yeah, it makes it really hard to cut them out, though.
How does Matthew aid in your creativity?
Yeah, that's a question for you. That's not for me.
He aids by letting me go be creative. Like, there's some days or like weekends where maybe we're really busy and I haven't been able to like plan, and I'll just be like, I need to go memory plan. I just need to go be creative. And he's just like, okay. So I guess that's how you aid. You just let me do it.
Yeah.
So.
Plus, it's man cave time for me. So.
Mm-hmm. Does Matthew flip through old spreads to get ideas on how to set up his spread, or does he just dive right in?
Heather tries to. She tries to show me things. She's like, see how I did this and I did this, and I'm just sitting there going, yeah, okay.
And then he doesn't do any of
And
those
then
things.
I just dive.
So he looks at them when I show them, and then he just dives in. What do you do while Heather plans?
Man cave.
We have a man cave in our backyard. It's kind of like.
It's not like.
Kind of like a pool house.
It's a 300 square foot brick structure. It's not like a shack in the backyard.
Yeah, it's like an actual building.
Yeah, it has central air and heading.
And we call it the man
And
cave.
surround sound.
It's where his video games
And a
live.
projector and my Xbox.
And I literally never go out there ever. Like, I don't think I've been out there in a year
And
or more.
yeah.
I don't go out there. It smells weird.
100-inch screen.
There's bugs.
There's not bugs.
Sometimes there's dead bugs.
I mean,
If you haven't been out there in a while.
dead bugs are good. I'd rather have dead bugs than alive bugs.
Matthew, do you have a fun hobby like Heather does?
No.
Video games.
I play video games. I'm really into Minecraft. I like to play Minecraft.
The next question is from Emily. Are you bothered by Heather's obsession with planner-related things?
No, not bothered by that. In fact, I listened to Heather talk about all kinds of planner stuff. She told me about the big planner drama today.
We're not going to talk about that.
We're not talking about that though.
Because that's unrelated to my channel. It's unrelated. Now everyone's going to ask about it.
We're not going to talk about it. Don't ask.
It was planner drama happening in another realm of the planner world. It wasn't within the happy planner
Not happy
world.
planner related.
It's like a
Look
different.
it up yourself. Don't ask Heather.
Like a different. Okay. Okay, our last question is from Beth. and she wants to know, how do you get the inspiration to take the amazing photos of Heather?
Well, what I like to do is just keep on clicking.
If y'all didn't know, Matthew has a fake Instagram account. It's kind of really run by both of us. He takes the pictures and I post them on Instagram.
And I occasionally get to pick the one that goes up, but
we actually haven't posted on it in a long time.
Yeah.
I think his Instagram handle is Kelly Good Photos or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's basically, with my clothing business, he has to take a lot of pictures of me wearing the clothes, and he'll purposely take bad photos, and they're like bad photos.
No, they're the ones that are in between.
It's like
poses. It's like yeah. So I'll count for Heather how many pictures I take, but then occasionally she'll be doing something where she's like in between poses, whatever, and I'm like,
or fixing my hair, or pulling my dress, and then it's an awkward photo. So it's just a funny Instagram account, and it's just something funny that we do.
I really can't believe that you gave people the handle for it.
I don't care. All right, so that is the end of our questions. If you liked this video, let us know so that maybe we can get Mr. Calvaplan in on more videos on this channel. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you want to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button, and happy planning.
Bye, guys.